Hello everyone, welcome to today's session on electromagnetic fields and transmission lines. Today we will discuss very important parameters related to dielectrics and then we will move towards the potential. So in previous session we have discussed about current, then we have tried to analyze the current flow of current in 3D. We assumed some toy example where charges are shown in the shape of some balls. So that part we have seen. Chalo hai na? So that part we have seen. We try to imagine the charges in terms of some spherical balls and we have analyzed the definition of current by using these charges. Then we have also discussed the important parameters of current. Then we discussed their relevance in metals, conductors and semiconductors. Then we discussed about the actual and imaginary direction of current. So we have observed that the conventional direction of current is from positive to negative and the actual direction of current is from negative to positive. So positive to negative is the conventional direction of current and negative to positive is the actual direction of current. That was the takeout of our previous session. Then we defined current density. Current density is nothing but current per surface in case we consider a surface. So if we consider surface, we have J is equal to di by ds. If we consider for a volume, we get di by TV and the unit of current density is amperes per meter square, and if it is volume we can take meter cube. Then we imagined the charges on surface like this, on surface equally distributed charges. Inside volume we imagined the charges like a ball available inside a volume. So it made us our imagination simple. Then we discussed about the current density, non-uniform density, the relation. We have formed the various relations of current J, rho V and V. So conductivity we have discussed. The main equation last time we derived was J is equal to rho V, V, where this V is velocity, rho V is density and this is current density. So directly proportional to the volume charge density and its velocity. Then we considered a diagram, the volume in motion. This volume we considered as moving in space. So this diagram was useful to understand the behavior and movement of the charges inside Then we imagine a test volume where number of charges are present with some height delta h and width delta w and length delta L. Then we derived the expression for that, and after deriving we proved that J is equal to rho V V. So based on that, different type of current densities we have discussed: conventional, conduction and displacement. Then continuity equation we have discussed in previous session along with Poisson's equation. Continuity equation uses divergence theorem where volume integral is converted to surface integral. Today we'll start our discussion from relaxation time. So there are different type of mediums. Let's say homogeneous and isotropic mediums. These mediums have different properties, different behaviors for the movement of vectors. So relaxation time tau, in simple way we can say that it is the time taken by charge to disappear from one place and to appear at another place. So it is also defined as the time required by charge density to decay to 36.8% of its initial value without any supply voltage or battery. So it takes some time for the charges to disappear from the inner part of the material and to appear on the surface. As we say, charges are zero inside the material, but inside material also there are various atoms and electrons. But these charges will disappear from the inner part of the surface and they will appear on the surface of material for the flow of conduction. This time, in simple language we can say, this time taken by the charges to disappear from one place and appear on the surface is considered as the relaxation time tau. So this tau is relaxation time. Now this we can derive by using the relation, earlier relation we have derived. We know J is equal to one equation we have derived, J is equal to rho V. Another relation between J and E, we know that J is equal to sigma E, where sigma is the conductivity. J and E, they are directly related. It is the another form of Ohm's law. So that is nothing but we can represent it in the form of Ohm's law. This also we have discussed in the previous session. Now we know that the relation between D and E is given by epsilon. D is equal to epsilon E. So from here what we can say, E is equal to D by epsilon. And if we keep this value of E into the expression of J, we can write J is equal to sigma by epsilon into D. We have also derived the point form or continuity equation. What is continuity equation? It gives the del dot J. Del dot J we have derived as dou rho V by dou T. Now if we consider it as equation 1 and if we consider it as equation 2, we will keep this value of J into this expression. So once we keep this value in this expression, we will get so we will keep this value there. So what we will get, say del as it is. So del into the new J value is sigma by epsilon into D bar, which is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. Now we will use this expression. So this expression we will copy and we will see next. So now our last expression, what we got is, so the last expression which we got, we will write down again here. So last expression we got, say okay, so we will write sigma by epsilon del dot d bar is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. But we already derived Gauss law. What is Gauss law? Gauss law gives the divergence of d, the outflow of d. The divergence of d, if we focus only on this term, divergence of d, this is Gauss law. Del dot d is nothing but equal to rho v. So if we keep this expression here, what we will get? We will get sigma rho v by epsilon is equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. Now if we take both the sides, both the equations at same side, so we will get rho sigma rho v by epsilon plus dou rho v by dou t equal to 0. Now this equation is called as homogeneous linear ordinary differential equation. Now if we integrate both the sides, we will get log of rho v is equal to minus of sigma t by epsilon plus log of rho v, which will be constant of integration. So from here we can say that rho v is equal to rho constant e to the power minus t by tau. This tau term, what we are keeping in place, is called as the relaxation time. So this is expression for relaxation time, and this is one example. Based on that, we will see examples in separate session. Now we will discuss about the dielectric materials. What are dielectric materials? Dielectric materials are the materials which do not conduct. They are bad conductors. They don't allow the flow of conduction. So we will talk about them. What are the properties? Main topic here we have to study is polarization, the concept of polarization. There are two types of polarization present in this subject. One polarization is related to the dielectrics. Another polarization is related to the electromagnetic waves, the direction of electromagnetic wave. So this one, in this we will discuss about the polarization of dielectrics. So there will be two types of dielectrics basically. One will be non-polar and another one will be polar. So one will be non-polar, another one will be non-polar. What is non-polar? Non-polar is the molecules of the dipoles where external field is not applied, still there is some kind of dipole present inside the atom. For example, hydrogen or oxygen. In polar molecules, a permanent displacement between positive and negative charges exists. For example, water and sulfur dioxide. So what is dipole concept? So before understanding the polarization, we have to understand dipole. Dipole means two poles. So there will be two poles, means two different places present with some different charge. So one side there should be positive charge, another side there should be negative charge. For example, a capacitor separated by two plates with different charges and separated by the dielectric medium. Now how this dipole concept is related with polarization and dielectrics, that we have to see here. So let us consider there are two charges. One charge is say positive charge plus q, another charge say minus q. Here we can see, so here we have one positive charge, one negative charge, and there is some distance between them, say d. D is the distance between them. So now electric field intensity, it always moves from positive to negative. So this is the direction of electric field intensity. Now let us consider one setup of atom which is of dielectric. Dielectric means where charges are strongly attached with each other. Now in this is just a toy example, those are not up to the scale. What we are considering, there is a nucleus here shown with the blue one. So this is nucleus, and around nucleus all the electrons are rotating according to its shell, right? That's what is the function of electrons, to rotate around the nucleus. Now in conductors we get these electrons out of the atom and they become free, they are easily available. But in dielectric the bonding with the nucleus is very strong, they are very strongly attached. Even if we apply strong electric field, we don't get electrons out of the atom of dielectric. That's why they are dielectric. They don't conduct because they are strongly attached with the nucleus. We do not get electrons outside easily. That is the important point to remember in the dielectric. Now what we will do, we will apply electric field. We will apply a lot of electric field and we will see what happens with this. The same, we will consider the diagram where we are applying huge amount of electric field. Now electric field will not be able to get the electrons out of the atom, but it will succeed in changing the structure of the atom. It will be like some earthquake to the electrons and nucleus. So we are keep on applying the electric field intensity. Electric field intensity lines are continuously attacking on the atom. We are applying very strong electric field. So what was the earlier position of electrons? They were in a particular orbit, they were in a particular sequence. That sequence is disturbed. The position of nucleus may slightly change. The position of electrons may slightly change from their earlier position. So this shift in the position will create some kind of kinetic energy inside the atom of dielectric. So they will acquire some kind of energy. So there will be some resultant charge in form of the dipoles. Say nucleus side will become one positive pole and all electrons will constitute one resultant negative charge with some distance d between them. So what is this? They have some own energy inside them. They will became like a small capacitor, we can say. So this concept is called as polarization, and these are the dipoles, two poles separated by some distance d. Okay, so here we can see all electrons we are combining at one place, and they are representing one single negative charge. So all the atoms we will consider here with this yellow, it is representing one pole, and here we have another nucleus is presenting one positive pole. Now how we get the diagram? One is negative, another one is positive, and when we apply some force, that force is given by QE from the definition of electric field intensity. What is electric field intensity? Force per charge. So from here what we can say? We can say force applied is nothing but charge into electric field intensity. So there is a shift, this QE, this application of QE, this is equivalent negative charge due to high electric field intensity. So this force is going towards right side, and there is some force on this positive nucleus, same QE, that is also shifting it towards some other side. So these are the two poles. If we compare it with the horizontal plane, say there is some angle theta between them. So this is how we get dipole inside an dielectric medium atom. So what are the properties of dielectric material? Dielectric material do not contain free electrons for conduction. They possess some inbuilt charge due to polarization. They offer infinite resistance, say R is equal to infinity. Their conductivity is 0. Conductivity is equal to 0. When they come in influence of electric field intensity, bound charges change their original place and produces electric dipole. There will be electric dipole. Now this creation of dipole, either we are applying external field or not, depending on, we have two types, polar dielectrics and non-polar dielectrics. Polar and non-polar dielectrics. Okay, then it possesses polarization. Then due to polarization they can store energy. We can say the flux density of the dielectric increases equal to the polarization. Dipoles can produce their own electric field and stay in the direction of the applied electric field. The electric field inside the dielectric gets modified due to the dipole. So when we consider the dielectric medium, say either it is a capacitor or free space or any other plastic, glass or any other material, then we have to consider the dielectric constant. So dielectric constant is useful in the electromagnetics because we have two relations. We have, say, electric field intensity and electric flux density. Both of them are related with D is equal to epsilon E. Here epsilon is one kind of dielectric constant. Along with that, in magnetic field, capital B, magnetic flux density, is related with magnetic field intensity as mu H. So these are the permissions given by the medium for the flow of them. So where this epsilon is related, this epsilon is combination of epsilon naught, epsilon r, where epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space and where epsilon r is relative permittivity or dielectric constant. So epsilon r is equal to 1 plus susceptibility x e. So from here what we can say, epsilon r is equal to, we can write from this expression, epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. So epsilon r is basically given by this expression 1 plus susceptibility, that is nothing but equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. So this is about the dielectric constant. Now we are talking about some different type of mediums. So there may be isotropic, homogeneous and linear dielectrics. These may be the types of dielectrics. So if we consider the relation D is equal to epsilon naught E, based on this expression we will see what are these three types. A material is said to be linear if flux density charges changes linearly with E. If D is changing linearly with E, then it is called as linear medium. One type of medium is linear medium. So why this is important, let me explain you. Suppose we are calling someone from mobile phone. So mobile phone signals will start from the mobile, they will enter into the medium. Medium is a dielectric area, say air. Now it will not only pass from the air. If you call someone from the class, in your classroom it should maybe it should cross the wall or some glass. Wall may have 2-3 different materials. A wall is made up of iron rods, cement, bricks and all. So each material will have different permissions, different permittivity to the flow of electromagnetic signal. So we have to consider that if it goes through glass will have different permittivity. So these are the mediums. So how they behave, the relation between D and E, according to that we decide the medium, whether it is linear or homogeneous or isotropic. So linear means the one who is changing D and E linearly. Now then next, if epsilon depends on XYZ, that means the space coordinates. In air or space we have to consider the location with respect to 3 axes. x, y and z. If it depends on the axis, 3 axis, then it is non-homogeneous medium. For example, Earth atmosphere is an example of non-homogeneous medium because its permittivity, that means permission for other elements to enter, that is resistance we can say in other words, changes with altitude. As altitude changes, its permission changes. So this epsilon depend on the x, y, z. If it is not depending, it is non-homogeneous. If it is depending, it is homogeneous. Third one, the materials for which flux density d and epsilon, that is permittivity are in the same direction, are known as isotropic. That means this epsilon and d, they should move in the same direction, then it will be called as isotropic. So we can say a dielectric material, that is d is equal to epsilon E, or example, is linear if epsilon does not change with the applied electric field intensity. So with this we will stop here, and in next session we will discuss about the potential. It is very important concept with respect to our subject. Thank you. Have a good day.